Welcome back to MDEV25. I am Ross doing some MDEV creator conversations. I am here with Kyle to talk about HyperTyper2000. Kyle, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm Kyle. I'm the solo developer for HyperTyper2000. I've been working on this game for just over a year, and I've been working on games arguably since college when I first poked my head into Unity.
Sweet. Now, tell me a little bit about HyperTyper2000. How would you describe your game in 10 words or less?
Left-hand types, right-hand moves, survive.
There we go. So, who are the types of gamers, or what types of games that people play might give them interest in your game?
I mean, any typing game. I think typing games are a little uncommon, but they're getting more common now. But also games like Enter the Gungeon or The Binding of Isaac, where this game draws a lot of inspiration as well.
There we go. Now, I have it on good authority that you have a demo available because I played it on Steam. Are there any release dates or platforms that you wanted to announce as far as an intention toward?
Yeah, we have our demo available on Steam currently, which will be getting updates soon. And we're going to be participating in Steam Next Fest in, I think, February of 2026.
There we go. A platform aiming for, I assume Steam Deck and typing don't go together really well, so I'm assuming probably have a keyboard and a mouse.
Unfortunately, yes, Steam Deck is a little out of the scope, I think. But mostly, yeah, PC on Steam.
There we go. Now, what are the types of games that inspire you?
In general, one of my biggest inspirations is Celeste. I'm really big into platformers, not that you would know it from playing HyperTyper, but also roguelikes in general, especially The Binding of Isaac, Rebirth, and Enter the Gungeon.
Awesome. Now, you are in Indie Alley at MDEV right now. What does being at MDEV mean for you?
It means an opportunity to meet other developers in the Midwest, which has, I mean, as we all know, here at MDEV has kind of been historically underrepresented, and I think that's why a lot of us are here. But the beauty of it is to be able to make those connections with people, see other people's games in the Midwest, and just get excited about what's happening all over Wisconsin and Illinois and Indiana and everywhere else in the Midwest.
Super awesome. Now, this year at MDEV, what's been your favorite thing so far?
I guess similar to why I'm here, it's been meeting other devs and getting excited about games, both going through the alley in the time that I do have that I'm not at my own booth, playing other people's games, seeing what's happening, but also having devs come to my booth and play my game and hear what feedback they have and hear what ideas they have. MDEV is definitely the showcase where I find the most good ideas coming from people playing the game, where someone sits down, they play the game, and they sit back and they think for a moment and they say, have you thought about this? And usually at other showcases the answer is yes, and at MDEV usually the answer is no. That's a really good idea, and that's very satisfying.
There we go. Now, this is a surprise question. What is the most interesting word that you can type out only with your left hand?
After cataracts.
Yeah, that'll work.
It's one of the longest words that you can type with one hand, with the left hand on a keyboard, next to, I think, stewardesses.
There we go. Stewardesses and cataracts. Shout out to those. Are there any links if people want to pay attention to HyperTyper2000? What are the best places? Is the Steam page the place to go, or are there other socials to look at?
The Steam page is probably the best place to go. You can also find me on Blue Sky as Binary Clone, and from the Steam page, you can find our Discord server where you can apply to become a playtester if you want a little more than the demo a little early, or just get updates on the state of the game.
I would like to talk about stale game platforms and stale game styles. As the typing genre was definitely one of those, what are the opportunities of looking into stale game genres for innovation and new game ideas?
Yeah, I think there's always an opportunity there when you look at something that a genre that had existed, had some niche success, but has some fundamental fun there. For typing games, I think most people think back to the Typing of the Dead Overkill, which I played it and loved it years ago. But most of these games, like Epistory as well, relied on you see a word, you type the word, as fast as you can, and then you do that again, as many times as possible. And usually it's not wrapped up in a whole lot more than that. And eventually we saw the text assist, the story of Ray Bibba, which is amazing and was one of the primary inspirations for HyperTyper. There's always opportunities there when you think, wow, when was the last game that used this idea? And you have to think back 10 years to hit it. Usually there's something there. And now I think in 2025 we're seeing an explosion of typing games as people realize that, and as people like me and these other devs who grew up playing things like Typing of the Dead are now thinking, why didn't we do more of this? And so we have things like Text Assist where we have this bullet hell boss rush kind of context, and you switch modes between typing versus moving. You have games like Typecast that simplify down the typing experience to single letters to make it more reasonable to have some kind of typing aspect alongside a movement aspect. You have games like now Wordlock, also here at MDEV, Juan Beston show.
Shout out to Wordlock.
That uses typing for spell casting, another awesome typing game. We have the new Battle Royale typing game that's on Steam. We have the new zombie co-op horror shooter typing game that's now on Steam. All of these games coming out in the last year, I think, as people realize that typing is hard, typing is fun, and I think a lot of us with nostalgia for that era of typing more, now that we're in 2025 and we're all on our phones, we're all typing on tiny little touch screens, we're interfacing less with our keyboards, and those skills are kind of sliding by the wayside. And a lot of us that spent time, not just time developing those skills, but time enjoying those skills. People still play Type Razor just for the leaderboards, just for fun. If we have people, these huge groups of people that are literally just sitting at their computers typing as fast as they can, daily, there's room there to create even more fun. And I think we're starting to realize that, just as a game dev community, and as all of these typing games continue to pop up.
So, following the dead platforms, if you will, what other dead or on life support genres do you think we might be seeing stuff soon? One of the things when I'm looking at demos at Next Fest is what is there not 50 of, and just see what did they bring. And so for me, top-down racing is one of it, traditional old simplified sport. I thought there still is a lot of opportunity there. But I want to give you the opportunity. Any other old genres you want to call out?
The big one for me, and one that I've always wanted to make someday, is the battle system from Mega Man Battle Network. In this game, if you're not familiar, you had a 3x3 grid that you could move on, and the opposing side had a 3x3 grid, and Mega Man could jump between those spots. You have a deck of chips that were your powers that you could use to fight the enemies and dodge their attacks. And so it was kind of a almost bullet hell-ish experience in the way that you had to predict and move around and anticipate the attacks from your opponent. And there is still a thriving emulated scene for PvP for these games. And if you look, Capcom stopped making these games years and years and years ago. They made, I think, 6 of them, and then they had a spin-off that was different enough that I wasn't as interested as a player. And then, they kind of stopped making Mega Man games. But then you look in that lineage of this is a pretty unique battle system. What else uses it? And there is One Step from Eden, which is an indie game that evolves the formula by making it a deck builder and by expanding the playfield to 4x4 grids on each side. And then you have nothing else ever, as far as I know. The closest thing is there is an upcoming idle game that is like a little idle chip collector battler, very much heavily themed around the Mega Man game. I can't remember the name, but you can look it up. It's coming soon. But that, is less about the battle system. It's an idle game that takes a lot of inspiration from the aesthetics and the system, but is less participatory in the system in a primary way. But I think that there's a lot of promise there. I think One Step from Eden really proves that there's a lot of promise there. And One Step from Eden has a very unique approach. And so I don't think that it's I don't think it would be sensible to say that the genre or that idea has been explored to the fullest.
Speaking of games that we can't remember, I'll toss one out too. If you remember Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis, it's an obscure pull. Part of one of the things that you could do in Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis was you could be a decker or a net runner who could go into cyberspace and like hack systems. And there was like you could be hurt by them through your data jack. So basically, there was a 16-bit simplified interface of these cyberspace runs that was incredibly fun for me as a younger person, and more or less nothing has been made about it since. And there was a demo, I want to say, in the June Next Fest that took that concept of being in a representation of a computer network, and it took out the kind of boring combat aspects from the Genesis game and added a card battler into it. And so it took most of the things that were good and added some of the game lessons that we've learned in the last 30 years. And so that one was really good. So good that I forgot the game's name, but I am very interested in it. I think it's called Cyber something. But so speaking of things that need a little bit more attention, are there any shout outs that you'd like to give, gratitude to provide, things that need a little bit more attention that you wanted to call out?
I think the big one for me is Indie City Games in Chicago. My game wouldn't exist without Indie City Games. I know actually a good few of the games here at MDEV today wouldn't really be here without ICG. A lot of us come out of game jams. A lot of us come out of just that building of community and support and just like the ability to ask people questions and get answers from real people in our city or in the Midwest. And also the setup for all of these jams. They do jams every couple of months and real, physical showcases for all of these jams where you can go and meet people and talk about our games, talk about our process, and talk about our struggles, getting it over the line in 2 weeks. HyperTyper was originally one of those jam games, and it's been such a great experience to be a part of ICG as it just has really exploded over the past couple of years.
Super awesome. So, HyperTyper2000, a demo is available on Steam. Check it out. Also, play some old genres, man. Find the fun and see if you can, bring the future to it, because we all want to have some fun, and there were ways that we had fun in the past that we need to remember.
Play weird little small games.
Play weird small games, folks. Can't say it better. This is Ross signing off from MDEV.